Okay guys, so today was Sunday day 4 of rounds 2 and 3, and so I'm just going to go over some of the games. I'll go over Indiana and Temple just a little bit, and then tomorrow I'll break down Indiana and Temple more than what I do today, but I'm just going to simply go over the games real fast, and then I'll go over games that stood out, and then, Indiana and Temple I'll go over a little bit more in detail. Ohio State won 78-75 over Iowa State. Indiana won 58-52 over Temple. Kansas beat North Carolina 70-58 after being down 30-21 at halftime. So North Carolina did hold Kansas to 21 points in the first half, but Kansas really came out strong in the second half and scored 49 points in the second half. I think a lot of that had to do with defense. Kansas tightened up their defense in the second half, and Kansas was getting good points in the transition. Florida beat Minnesota 78-64. No real surprise there, but Florida, it does seem like they're stepping it up. So, and then the final 4 games of the day: San Diego State loses to Florida Gulf Coast University 81-71. 15th seed is in the Sweet 16. Unbelievable. LaSalle beat Ole Miss 76-74. And that's a game that I watched. Duke beat Creighton 66-50. And Miami barely holds on and beats Illinois, a good Illinois team, 63-59. So now what I'll do is I'll go over the games that I watched. Illinois and Miami, I watched that pretty. I was just into that game. I mean, I was rooting for Illinois because it helped Indiana's cause out quite a bit, but it just didn't happen. So Indiana's going to have a rough road to the national championship no matter what it looks like. But Illinois and Miami both were taking stupid threes down the stretch. It's a theme. If you don't want to get upset in the NCAA tournament, don't take stupid threes. It is a theme year after year. Teams just don't use their head. They take stupid shots. And and you had that in the Illinois-Miami game. Illinois, believe it or not, the three-point shot did get them back in it, and they took a lead, but and then Miami was taking stupid threes, and boy, that game was just crazy. And Miami don't look as tough as I have thought they was all season long. I look a little bit more vulnerable than what I thought, but I still think that you can't argue with winning the ACC regular season title and the ACC tournament. You just can't. Okay, so the other game that I want to talk about is Florida Gulf Coast. I mean, that's huge. 15 seed going to the Sweet 16. Awesome. And boy, I mean, this team looks athletic. I mean, high-flying dunkles. Man, I tell you, and they are clicking. I mean, I've seen some of that game, and they are just clicking on all cylinders, and they just unbelievable. I mean, really good. And LaSalle looked really good against Ole Miss. Ole Miss, I feel sad. I mean, I think they were a decent team, but LaSalle, it seemed like they were playing pretty good ball as a team. And then you have Kansas. I watched the Kansas-North Carolina game. Like I said earlier, in the first half, North Carolina was up on Kansas 30-21. North Carolina came out fast out of the gate, just took a big lead, and boy, it didn't look good for Kansas, but give credit to Roy Williams and his staff. They made adjustments to them halftime, and it seemed like they were closing off them lanes to the basket a lot more, and just played much better defense. Interior defense improved. Jeff Whitty, the Kansas center, he was outstanding. And North Carolina's just young. I mean, next year they could be definitely a top 5, top 3 team. They're just young. I don't know who's going to stay or whatever, but North Carolina has some hope next year to be a really good team. But Kansas did a really good job. I think at times they're weak, but they still just keep pressing on. I still don't think they should have got a number 1 seed. I still don't. And then Ohio State. I was going off on Facebook about this. Ohio State wins on a last-second 3. I think there was like a 25 seconds left in the game. Ohio State had a timeout. It was a tie ball game. And coming out, okay, this is the classic stupid 3 thing, okay? Coming out, you would think a man like Dad Mata, who I think is a good coach, I think he's overrated, but I do think he's a good coach. Here you have a good coach like Dad Mata. You have good players at one of the top universities in the country. Come out of a timeout. Okay, it's 75-75. You do want to take time off the clock in this situation. The shot clock was off. There was like 23 seconds left in the game. So what does Ohio State do? They stand around, okay, which is okay. You want to take time off the clock. But then they wait until probably 3 seconds left in the game to start moving, okay? And what happens? You had Kraft standing there, who is an awesome player. Kraft is top 5 defensive player in the country, if you ask me, and could be top 3 or whatever. He's outstanding. He gave IU a lot of trouble. But he stands there, only kicks back and takes a 3. Now, in that situation, you want to get good ball movement. You want to get it in, a high percentage shot. You do want to take time off the clock. But you don't want to just stand around after playing a whole season. All the things you've worked for, all the games you battled through in the Big Ten, all of the practices and stuff, and you come out and you stand around, and then you wait till like 3 seconds left and everybody starts moving, and then you just chuck a 3. I mean, so it's like rolling the dice after all you've put into this season. A win's a win, but it's just a shame and very sad to see a team win like that. It really is. I mean, it's just, you're leaving your season up to a 3. I mean, I just expect so much more from college basketball in this country, or basketball in general. Just so, there was nothing to it. I mean, I don't think he took one step the whole time, and then he just takes a 3. I mean, so why not get the ball inside, take a high percentage shot, maybe draw a foul? I don't. It just doesn't make sense to me. I say this all the time on my vlogs. You guys know this, but still, why do that? Why wait around after all you've been through and leave it up to a 3-pointer? I just. But they won. They advanced, and good. But I tell you, I don't think I'd be. I tell you, if I was Thad Matta, about the 10-second mark, if they're still staying around, I would have called timeout immediately, and maybe even 12-second mark, and I would have told them, that hey, I would have drew up a play, got one of the offensive sets, and made sure they put it in motion. That's what really makes college basketball so crazy, is the three-point shot, especially in tournament time.